I mean, watching Maryland over the weekend, you all know I spent the weekend up in New Jersey and doing cool stuff with my wife, Stoner, coming in this week. But we got Ravens Steelers here this week. The World Series is over. They're going to have their fun out in Chicago for the next 6 months or 108 years or however long that drunken stupor and hangover lasts. But we got college football this weekend, big games, especially on Saturday night, as well as the National Football League and the biggest game of the season here as the Steelers come to Baltimore. As usual, every couple of weeks we check in with Brandon Lang. He is made famous by the Matthew McConaughey movie, Two for the Money. He is a longtime handicapper in Las Vegas and parts unknown. We welcome Brandon Lang from Brandon Lang back on BrandonLang.com back onto the program. And not a moment too soon, right? Because you had the Cubs in the World Series, right?
Yeah, it didn't look good 3-1, but it just goes to show you all year long that three-headed monster of Arrieta, Lester, Hendricks, the planets were aligned that if they were going to come down back from 3-1, you had the three guys to do it. Lester getting it started in a must-win Game 5. Arrieta unhittable, just like he was in Game 2 and Game 6. And then give Hendricks, big-time credit. But I'll tell you what, the Cubs let Joe Madden off the hook. I thought he yanked Hendricks way too early. Thought he yanked Lester too early to get to Chapman. The offense bailed him out. There would have been a lot of questions about those
and he pitched Chapman in Game 6 with a 5-run lead, too. Let's not forget that. I mean,
absolutely.
The managerial part of the bullpen, being what we've been through with Buck Showalter, it really becomes this incredible examination of managing bullpens. And as Luke and I discussed, who you trust and who you don't trust. We trusted Ubaldo Jimenez around here. We weren't playing last month, right? And in the end, Joe Madden and also Tito showed they only had a handful of guys they trusted, and they were named Miller and Chapman, right? And Chapman, despite choking his girlfriend, was almost a hero. He was also almost a GOAT in Game 7, right?
Pretty amazing, isn't it, how you kind of sweep certain things underneath the rug when a guy can help you win a World Series. Will you sacrifice your soul? The Cubs did. Good for them. Character issues abound. It is what it is. We see it in the NFL. We see it in baseball. We see it in basketball. You pay these guys millions of dollars to deliver a championship, which means millions. Character issues abound. Congrats to Cubs fans, though. Well-deserved. Your team comes back from 3-1. Agree with you on Chapman.
How many years you been gambling on sports, Brandon Lang?
25.
25 years. This is probably the biggest conundrum of a situation with the Ravens and the Steelers this week, because everyone in Vegas that wants to make a line, everyone in the Steelers locker room, everyone in the Ravens locker room, they all want to know if Ben Roethlisberger's playing, because we all know that the Steelers are a different proposition if he plays versus not playing. And, I got Mike Tomlin in my phone. He's already texted me 3 times this week. He ain't telling me who's playing. He ain't telling anybody. I don't know if they really know whether Ben's going to play. I know they're calling it limited and all that. And there's a lot of decoy, a lot of paranoia involved in this. Certainly the Ravens have to prepare 2 game plans now defensively, one for Ben and one without Ben. And I think as someone into short-term investments, setting lines, they're going to play this game on Sunday. Now, whether Roethlisberger plays or not, how does this work from your side of the industry, Brandon?
Well, I look at it like the matchup of these two teams and how tightly contested they play each other. Now, I know that's with Ben, and you have to kind of take a step back, but last year both games were 3-point games, so there's no surprise that the point spread on this game is 3. My problem is the Ravens, regardless who they're playing, covers their last 4 this year. And they're on a 7-16 run against the number with 2 pushes, so they're definitely not paying out at the window at all. They're struggling, and I just think when you look at this game, give Pittsburgh's defense credit for holding Brady down the way they did a couple of weeks ago at home. Pretty impressive. And so as banged up as Baltimore is, I just have a feeling this game is coming right down to the wire, just like all the Pittsburgh-Baltimore games. Probably be decided by 3. I really believe if you're going to play Baltimore, you buy it down to 2.5. You're going to play Pittsburgh, buy it up to plus 3.5. I think we're going to see a field goal game just like we always do between these two.
Well, I mean, with Roethlisberger, does it not move the line? If he never gets injured, is the line different in this game?
Yeah, I think 4-3 Pittsburgh with Ben playing. I believe it's probably 1.5. I believe he's probably worth 2 points. Brady's worth 4 or 5.
He's worth more than that, but okay.
Well, the line.
I understand what you're saying.
I think it was a 6 last year. He missed a game, and the line went from 7 to a pick'em or 7-1. and I forget what it was, but he was worth 6 points. Ben's probably worth 2.5, 3. So this game would probably be a pick-em instead of the -3, but Baltimore is.
Cleveland's had some interesting numbers on them as well because they've been better against the number than, as you pointed out, the Ravens have been. I'm always shocked to see that they're not a bigger underdog because they stink, but they are in these games a lot of the time.
Yeah, crazy how close their games have been in the fourth quarter, and then they let a late score. They're one touchdown away from the Tennessee game with the backdoor cover of dropping 5 in a row against the number. Their other cover on the year was at Miami, where that was a game they had one field goal kicker missed the chip shot field goal, and then they lost in overtime as a 10-point dog. Those are their only 2 covers this year, the Miami game and the backdoor cover against Tennessee. I just think with where these 2 teams are going, the direction they're heading in, and as impressive as Dallas has been on the road already this year, I agree with you. I'm surprised this number's not a little higher. I think with Dallas's running game, I think Dallas is the right side of the game.
I thought it would shoot up, quite frankly, during the course of the week because, who wouldn't like Dallas by a lot in this game, right?
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, you take Hugh Jackson back to his days at Oakland and Cleveland this year, over the posted total, 12 of his last 15, and this year they've gone over their last 3. I think we're going to see points. I think Cleveland offensively will score a little bit against Dallas. That posted total, 48.5, tells you Vegas is expecting a little scoring. I do like over the posted. I like over the posted total more than I like Dallas -7.
Then there's some teams that have been very Jekyll and Hyde, right? Like the Miami Dolphins would be one of those teams where you might feel differently about them the last month running the football than you did in September where they look sort of woeful.
It's funny, the NFL, when you as a team go from being the hunter to being hunted. And that's where the Miami Dolphins, remember, they were laying 3.5 against Tennessee. They lost outright. Titans went in there and dominated them 30-17. Next 2 weeks, you're a dog against Pittsburgh. You get the job done. You win outright. The next week, Vegas decides to make you an underdog again, catching another 3.5. And you take care of Buffalo, and you win that outright. And now you flipped it again, where now they're laying 3.5 against the Jets, who have covered 5 straight, and 8 of the last 10 in this series. Don't think you can pass up the Jets plus 3.5.
A couple of teams that have sort of fallen out of favor, at least in my mind, is a championship stock. Out in the NFC West, we got our own problems in the AFC North, where 9 wins, maybe 10 is a pipe dream at this point. The Ravens would have to go 7-2 to win 10 games this year, but still hopes of winning the division. Seattle and Arizona are both teams, and Seattle's a tough team because they're going to have trouble scoring, I think, all year long. They're going to play great defense. They're going to be in some games, but hard to like Seattle with a big number, right?
You hit the nail right on the head. Their defense is great, but their offense is getting exposed, and you're getting value created by the New England blowout of Buffalo and Buffalo's road loss at Miami. But let's not confuse ourselves. This Seattle offense is nowhere near in the same class as New England's offense is right now. And with the New England blowout, you're getting value with Buffalo. I do believe Buffalo goes out here and plays them tough. They match up well with Seattle. Hard to pass up that big a number with the struggling Seattle offense. I do like the Bills plus the points.
Yeah, we thought the Minnesota Vikings were emerging, and then we saw the game on Monday night. The Oakland Raiders appear to be the real deal, right? And they've got the biggest game going on out there in the East Bay in a long, long time, with Denver coming in, with them having a chance to say we are the team in the NFC West. It's going to be interesting from a wagering perspective that you're on, but also what happens out on the field, because I think there is a perception that the Raiders are real, and you're going to see them play in January this year. If that's the case, this is a game they got to win.
Yeah, but for me, I think that perception is wrong. I think they're living on borrowed time here. I really do. I like the fact that they've slayed the demons of playing the 1 p.m. Eastern game on the East Coast, where they were 0-17 this year. Now they're 5-0. I get it.
0-17. That's whew. Wow.
Going into the year, they started the year at New Orleans, playing at 1 p.m. Eastern. They were 0-17 in that situation their last 17. Since then, they're 5-0 this year. They won at the Saints. They won at Tennessee. They won at Baltimore. They won at Jacksonville. They won at Tampa Bay. But now they are facing a Denver team. This is the elite of the elite. They haven't lost straight up at the Coliseum since 2010. Think about that. Denver 15-1 straight up, 14-2 against the spread. Their last 16 versus the AFC West, and they're 8-1 against the number of their last 9 in this series. I'm sorry. I think you're getting unbelievable value. Raiders are 0-3 at home this year with losses to Atlanta, San Diego, Kansas City. I think Denver getting great value with the Broncos on the road.
He is Brandon Lang. You can follow his journey at BrandonLang.com. He picks winners and has a staff that does so as well. Tell me what you're doing this weekend, Brandon.
It's big. I'm on a 10-2 run on the website, plus the one-day free all-access pass. I've added 2 new handicappers that are off to a good start. So if you haven't taken advantage of the one-day free all-access pass, it's 13 best bets, absolutely free, Saturday or Sunday. Saturday in college, we're looking for 150 dime winner number 3 in a row, and we may go max wager 200 dimer on Sunday as we keep this nice little 10-2 winning streak going. Take advantage of the one-day free all-access pass.
College football, there's some big games this weekend as well, and obviously under the bright lights. Alabama always picks up a loss somewhere along the line, right? And this looks to be a comfortable spot to say, well, LSU disappointed in the beginning of the year, went up to, Lambeau and got beat and kind of, ended their national championship hopes a couple of weeks ago as well. But emerging, still a powerhouse team, obviously a lot of changes there, at the top and with the offense, and they've played better. This is a spot where a guy on the outside would say, I'm going to watch this football game because I want to see Nick Saban get his ass beat.
Well, people are getting a little tired of Nick Saban. It's unbelievable it's unbelievable to me how this team, how they grind, lines up to 7.5, and then you catch your breath and you take a look, and they cover. They've covered every game this year but 2. At Ole Miss, the game where that's probably the game they should have lost as an 11-point road favorite. Ole Miss had them down by 2 scores in the second half, couldn't hang on. And then, of course, Kentucky at home laying 37. They won by 28. But they've laid big numbers, 14.5 at Arkansas, won by 19. Tennessee, 13.5, won by 39. A&M, laying 18, won by 19. I mean, my point in all this is this. You go against Alabama, and you kind of sit there on your hands going, everything's just a sweat, a punt return away, a defensive score away, and we don't know how good LSU is offensively. Give Ed Orgeron credit for what he's done there, but I just feel with Alabama and the way they are, the right side of the game is Alabama, so hard not to take LSU plus 7.5, but I just don't. You take Fournette out of it, now that quarterback's going to have to beat that secondary with his arm. I just think Alabama, anytime you can get Alabama laying a single-digit number anywhere on the planet Earth, you take it. And by the way, let me note, this is the first single-digit number Bama has laid all year long.
Maryland, my Maryland, last weekend, chance to be bowl eligible, went out to Indiana, laid a turd, couldn't stop the run, 3 cats with 100 yards on the ground, and now, look, Jim Harbaugh's probably happy. His Cubs won. His dad's very upset because the Indians lost. I'm sure he had his ball cap on and his ball glove on the other night at Wrigley. The whole deal, right? But now they got to go play Maryland. They're a 30-point favorite this week. I can't say that shouldn't be the number, but it feels to me like one of the reasons you put a number on that is because they beat teams like 78-0. The other part of that would be, well, he's playing Durkin, so there really is a little homegrown going here. And Maryland did go out to the big house and beat Michigan 2 years ago during the waning days of the Brady Hoke administration. So an interesting game. I give Maryland no chance to win, but you start putting 30 in the number in, and that's where you come in, Brandon.
Well, it's funny. My big play in college was Texas at home, beating Baylor. But I'm from Michigan. I know the Michigan State rivalry. For Michigan to be laying 23 on the road to Michigan State, you don't have any idea how much I wanted to pull the trigger.
Well, by the way, they just lost to Maryland, too, right? I mean, Michigan State.
Yeah.
So you're looking at it saying, my God, how bad are they, right?
Yeah, and so I didn't pull the trigger, but the whole time I'm sitting there saying there's no way Michigan in this rivalry is going to go in there and blow them out. Michigan State's going to play them tough. Couldn't pull the trigger, and they did. Lost in the shuffle of all this. Harbaugh is only 4-4 against the spread this year. 6-8 his last 14 on the Vegas board. No covers, 3 of the last 4 in Ann Arbor. So I'm going to tell you something right now. I do like Maryland plus that boatload of points. Let down game for Michigan off the Michigan State win.
Wow, man! Oh boy, it's a 3:30 game. If the game's close at 5:15, you're getting a text from me, Brandon. I'll tell you that right now. Nebraska and Ohio State. We talk so much about the Big Ten and where Maryland is. By the way, Maryland's got Michigan this week, Ohio State next week, and Nebraska. So I'm going to be watching this game, amidst hoping that Alabama loses on Saturday night as well. But Nebraska and Ohio State, I've even got a flight out to Nebraska to go to Lincoln, perhaps for a game 2 weeks from now before that Dallas game. So I have even greater interest in this Nebraska-Ohio State game, but still in the championship picture for both of them. But this is an enormous game in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised Ohio State struggled against Northwestern in the manner in which they did. Northwestern stood toe-to-toe with them. I was one of the few people that went on radio last week and said I like Nebraska plus the 9 over Wisconsin. It's probably a game they should have won outright, but I think they rebound. I like them going in here. I like them plus the points. I think Nebraska's better than everybody thinks. People didn't really respect them because of the soft schedule. I think they showed you last week against Wisconsin that they are for real. I think Armstrong keeps them in it. I'll take Nebraska plus the points.
He is Brandon Lang. BrandonLang.com is the way to find him. If you've seen the movie Two for the Money, he was the featured guy there in the McConaughey special. And, so for the Midwest and the Cubs and all this celebration, it's good tidings this week, right? I mean, that was a feel-good World Series. Kind of sucked some old-timers like you and me back in for a little bit, right?
Well, we never thought in our day the Red Sox would break the streak. They came from 3-0 down against the Yankees and swept the Cardinals. So who were we to think that the Cubs weren't going to come back from 3-1, break the 100-century curse, and get themselves a World Series win? Being from Michigan, Chicago's a hop, skip, and a jump away. Arigato. Congratulations to the Cubs.
How about the Cubs fans taking over Cleveland? That's something, right?
It's just what makes it worse is that they had. Listen, I don't feel bad for Cleveland fans. I'll tell you why. Because LeBron got them their championship. LeBron got the city a championship.
LeBron looked like he wanted to go down there and pitch the 8th inning, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did. And the great thing about it is that we would feel bad for Cleveland if LeBron hadn't handed their championship. They don't need 2 parades in a row. Let's let the Cubs now have their parade.
All right, well, and they shall, and interest is back in the grand old game of baseball. I'll tell you what, you stack odds and you make numbers. What were the odds that a kid eating a hot dog next to me in the press room in 1992, 93, 94, a guy named Theo would be the guy who would lead the Red Sox to multiple championships and then come back and lead the Cubs? I mean, what are the odds that one guy would be the guy that would build the Red Sox and the Cubs? That's 1 billion to 1, right?
Yeah, I think people don't realize how he has broken it down and how he put that team together. He stole a couple of incredible players. Getting Arrieta for what he gave up. I know it was I know right in your backyard, but that was the centerpiece and the foundation. And then Rizzo and these young kids and Bryant came up and got hot at the right time. And you really got to tip your cap. And he's I've met him once. He's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful guy. And you're happy for people that are genuine and sincere and aren't selfish or stuck up. He's not. He's a good dude. Much congratulations to him.
Yeah, it's hard to hate on Joe Madden, even though I've been hating on the Cubs for 2 weeks. So my feelings aren't all that hurt. It's not like the Yankees won or something like that. Hey, it's great having you on, Brandon. As always, we'll send everybody out to BrandonLang.com. Tell them the short-term investment play you got there. You got free stuff this weekend, right?
Oh, my God, the one-day free all-access pass. And like I said, looking for a third monster winner in a row on Saturday, and NFL Sunday could be the biggest play I've had in 2 years. I'm just finalizing some things. So you can have the one-day free all-access pass Saturday or Sunday. 13 best bets absolutely free.
Hey, Maryland covers on Saturday. We're going to remember you on Monday morning.
Thank you, brother.
See you later. BrandonLang.com is the way to find him. You can find me out in the Bayou Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn radio app. We do come in crystal clear. Big thanks to Jay and everybody at BayouToyota.com out there. Planet Fitness sponsors our WNST morning newspaper. It comes to your email inbox at 7 a.m. each and every morning. Planet Fitness is still there. $10 a month right around the corner from you. Check in there if you've been checking out the eggnog and the pumpkin spice the way I have, and the cookies and all that crap, add in the ham and the turkey and the stuffing and the mashed potato and the pecan pie and the mincemeat pie and all the stuff I like. PlanetFitness.com will work it all for you. Last but never least, breaking news happens first on the WNST Tech Service. That is brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Dennis is here on Thursday driving you home. We're out at Buffalo Wild Wings on Monday night in Owings Mills. doing our best seat in the house every Monday night, fully loaded transportation, bringing that limo back and forth, $100 gift card. Come on out, eat some wings with us, watch some Monday Night Football on Monday night. And, of course, my wife's donor, Niels, the man who saved her life twice, in town all week. We're having a big birthday party for him next Saturday night, the 12th, at Ruth's Chris Pier 5. There are no tickets. It's come as you are. Happy hour pricing all evening long in the function room. Come on down to Pier 5. We got valet parking, all that good stuff. Send us an email if you're interested in joining us for Niels' birthday, nasty@WNST.net. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, streaming live on Facebook as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.